So today I would like to talk about a person. I usually don't talk about a person because that's not my type of content that I would like to share with you all, but then so this person whom I'm talking about today is different person altogether, but then because of some circumstances he was projected both as a good and bad person. The reason why I'm talking about this person is not because I like him personally, or is that because I just want to uplift his ideology to my audience. So that's not the case. There are many other reasons why I would like to talk about this person, and there is a lot of things that we as a human can learn from this one person. So here I'm in the pursuit of educating the people about the importance of women, and the topic that I'm talking about today and the person around this topic has something to do with the importance of women, and that is the reason why, and that's the primary reason why I picked up this topic, or you can say like the epic story of the person, and that person is none other than Ravana. See, the first thing that came to your mind when I talked about, or when I pronounced the name Ravana, is so that bad image that you have in your mind is related to Sita. So how Ravana took or kidnapped Sita for his self benefits. I totally agree, like this is the image that we get in our mind. In fact, even I also got the same image in the initial days when I was hearing about Ravana. So that is because this media and the people out there only talk about the bad thing that you have done. It doesn't matter how many good things that you do in your life. What people see is that one bad thing that you have done for others or for themselves, and that is obvious, and that is in the nature. That is something which we can't stop it, or we can't eliminate it. So we have to go through it. And that being said, there is tremendous valuable lessons that you can learn from this one person alone, excluding that one thing that you have in your mind already. He was there for her sister when it really mattered. He was a Mahaan Brahmana. He was a great yogi. He was such a great and gifted person. In fact, he was not gifted, he acquired that gift through his yogic culture. He had this enormous powers or colossal amount of energy and tremendous. He was unstoppable, and none of the creators and none of the Rakshasas could kill him. He went into a deep meditation to acquire all the powers, and Ravana has mastered Maya Jala. So Maya Jala in Hindu philosophy, it is basically described as a power or a principle of illusion. He had mastered that principles in a way that he was able to win multiple battles just with that Maya Jala powers. And another one thing that I like about Ravana is he never instructed his soldiers or ministers to fight or declare a war on someone who is less wealthy, or so basically he was not stepping into this war unless and until if the opponent is very strong. So that is, if the opponent is very weak, if they have nothing, and if the opponent possesses nothing, then he was not stepping into any of such wars. So Ravana was so clear that whom he want to fight and whom he don't want to fight. So there was one such incident when his soldiers and his ministers had a fight with their neighbors who possessed nothing, and in such cases, even after they won the game of war, Ravana had instructed their own ministers and soldiers to reconstruct the house and provide the shelters that they had destructed during the time of the war. So that is a different perspective that we can think about right now about Ravana. See, I'm not trying to uplift anyone here, or I'm not trying to encourage, or I'm not saying that you need to follow Ravana. That is not my intention here. and that is not exactly what I want to teach you. And I don't want you to go back and say that Ravana is good or Rama is bad or such. Nothing as such. This is just education content, and I just want you to stick to that. And I just wanted to give you another perspective of a person who was projected in a different way, or if you put that in a different view. So what happens if you do one bad thing, or what happens to you if you go behind a woman, and if you want to forcibly take over a woman who has already married to someone, and what can happen to you, and what is the power of woman, and what woman can bring to this world. So she can bring peace, she can also initiate a war, she can literally do anything. So that's the power of woman, and that is exactly what I want to teach you through this one story. Ravana was a Mahaan Brahmana. He was a great yogi, and he was very good at Hindu philosophical preachings, and he was good at astrology. So there is this saying that he was literally checking all this planetary combination to make sure that when to declare war and what is the effective time, auspicious time for him to start something new. And in this process, I also want to highlight that so for something which you want to do good in life, you don't have to see for a good timing. So by good I mean not something good to yourself, something good that you are doing for the Pancha Bhuta, or the 5 elements of nature. So if you are doing such things, then you don't have to see a good timings. Whereas if you want to do something apart from that, then you have to definitely check for the good, auspicious, prosperous timings. Let's say if you want to start a weapon training, then there is a training time which is required. So that means when the planetary positions are not good and is not supporting, then in that case, so the shooting training or any equipment or any such training can cause self damage, or can result in casualty. So Ravana in that sense was so certain that he was so mindful on what he wants to do and when he wants to do. And another thing that I want to talk about here or highlight here is the importance of maintaining the secrets, or what can happen to you when you reveal your secrets to the outsiders. So here if I talk about the secrets, so you might have heard about Vibhishana. So we all know that Ravana was immortal in a way, and then he had acquired all the powers from the creators, and none of the Rakshasas and the Devatas could kill him. In fact, no animals or birds or humans, and none of them got a chance. And the person who killed Ravana was Rama. Rama was not just an ordinary man, he was a reincarnation of a god. So that requires a separate talk altogether that I will discuss in coming days. So coming back to Ravana and his brother Vibhishana, and only they knew that you can defeat Ravana by attacking his Nabi place. And this secret was revealed by Vibhishana, his own brother, that is Ravana's own brother Vibhishana revealed this secret to defeat Ravana to the opponents, and that is how Rama killed Ravana. So the lesson that we can learn from this part is, don't reveal any of your secrets to this universe. Only show the outcome of your powers, but don't show your powers to the outsider or to the universe. There is a high chance that you try to show your powers, the powers gets nullified, or you become weaker, which can result in casualty. Another good thing that I want to talk about Ravana here is he was there for her sister. So by that I mean, so let's think about this. So let's say you have a sister, and then so someone out there who has nothing to do with you just randomly showed up, and then he just harmed your own sister. and then you see your sister with a bleeding nose. So what would happen? What would happen to you? What action would you take even after looking at your sister's blood in her face? Shurpanaka coming back with her broken nose. So what would you even do? So that is exactly what Ravana also did. Maybe what we can think about here is, so what we can learn from here is, so for sure that Lakshmana was not so patient or calm as Rama. He was very aggressive, and maybe you don't know, just because of Lakshmana couldn't control or had no ability to manage the situation, he tried to attack Shurpanaka. See, this is another story that you can think of, or another perspective. Again, Shurpanaka is a woman, irrespective of whether she is a bad woman or a good woman. She is a woman, and that is what happens when you try to, or anybody tries to attack a woman. You have to face the consequences. So when Lakshmana tried to attack Shurpanaka, that resulted in a kidnapping Sita. So it was like, okay, you have touched my lady now, so it's my time for me to take revenge on you, and then here you go, I'll just take your lady. And that being said, let us start the war. You have to face all the consequences, and this is what happens when you touch my family. So I'm 100% sure, and we are also 100% sure that this is not what has happened. This is not the case in the actual scenario. So what I'm trying to highlight here is, Lakshmana should have managed this situation in a different way. Instead of hurting or attacking Shurpanaka physically, he could have respected her as a woman, just like her sister-in-law, and would have managed it in a different way. So the takeaway here is, Lakshmana should have handled the situation in a different perspective. Instead of assaulting her, he should have respected a woman just like any other ordinary woman, or leave it to the concerned person, that is Rama and Shurpanaka, to sort out this issue on their own. While Rama's brother initiated the war, or this epic story, on the other hand, Ravana's brother Vibhishana ended this story by revealing his own brother's secrets to his powers, and what are the ways to dissolve his brother's power. So the point I want to highlight here is, it's a very important thing. Maybe many of you might have not thought or seen this in this perspective. So here is what it is. If you do good, the entire universe, in fact your own brother and the people who are surrounding you, will support you to make sure that you reach your goals. But whereas when you do bad, your own brother can be your causative for your own death, and the entire universe will support against you. You might have heard of this Vanaras, that is this monkey, so-called monkey Sene. They had nothing to do with this war. Literally millions of Vanara Sene have died, and they had nothing for their own benefits, but still they came and they stood in support of Rama. So by universe I mean all the Panchabhutas and the creation which is on this universe will support you, irrespective of whether you have a physical strength or if you don't have any wealth. It doesn't matter. If your purpose is good and it is not against the universe will protect you. And I just want to end that with this sentence: Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita. So if you protect Dharma will protect you. No matter how many assets, how much of wealth that you have created. Ravana has created literally insane amount of wealth in his Lanka. It was a wealthiest city, or the country, whatever you call it as. He might have become the supreme, but then he didn't follow the Dharma. That is when his legacy was ended. And this exactly applies to the people right here in this generation. So if you think that you can make millions of money by not following Dharma, that is, even if you make thousands and thousands of crores against your Dharma, there is a day, there is a time if not on your generation, your next generation kids will make sure that they lose all your assets, and they will face Ravana's situation. So I respect all you to follow dharma, so for you to make sure that the universe and the dharma to protect you and your family. Thank you.